Mike DeCourcy with us, Sporting News, sportingnews.com. He joins us on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready hotline on 107.7 The Franchise. Mike, Zach McCrite here, and thank you so much for doing it. I know it is a busy day for you. I'll get to the games in just a second, but here in Big 12 land, people are very interested in Shaka Smart to Texas. Why is he a better fit there, in your opinion, if he is, than Rick Barnes?
Oh, I think the energy and Rick Barnes was a great coach for a very long time, but, they had not recruited well at Texas in the way that they should for probably 4 years, since the Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph class came in, and that class kind of really, in the end, wrecked Rick's tenure, or at least wrecked the continuation of Rick's tenure. When Corey Joseph went pro, it really devastated them. You plan for players like Kevin Durant to go pro. You know that's coming. Every college understands that Kevin Durant, whether that Kevin Durant comes in the guise of Derrick Rose or Greg Oden or whomever, they know that player's leaving in a year, so they plan for it, and they can also sell it. You guys know Kevin Durant's not going to be here next year. We know it, so come here and be the next Kevin Durant. And that's something you can do, but you can't do that with Corey Joseph, or in the case of UCLA, Drew Holiday, or in the case of somebody right close to home for you guys, Steven Adams at Pitt. Those guys didn't produce as freshmen, didn't win big as freshmen, and then they left. And that devastates the program. They can't plan for that. And so that part of it wasn't on Rick. But subsequent to that, he recruits a team full of capable big guys like Prince Ebay, like Cameron Ridley, and, of course, Miles Turner, the McDonald's All-American. He recruits those guys. And then he recruits a couple of decent guards, not great, Isaiah Taylor, Javon Felix. And where are the wing players? How do you play modern basketball with no wing players? You can't defend like that, and you can't attack like that. And they had none. They had one guy basically in the program, got in trouble last year. It's not like he was a superstar, but at least he played the position. He got in trouble, and he had to leave, and then they had nobody. And that can't happen at Texas. Look, recruiting's not easy for anybody, even John Calipari. But it's easier at some places than it is at others. And Texas is one of those places, and that group did not get it done there. Shaka Smart's not going to have that happen. And he's going to get players. The only question for Shaka Smart in the long run is he willing to put his favored Havoc pressure system into the background, have it be sort of a part of the program but not the focal point, because that can win a lot of games, as you saw with West Virginia this year, rolling through the Big 12, pressing everybody end-to-end. You can win a lot of games that way. But what did you see in the Sweet 16? That team got destroyed once they played a great team. And so you can't win championships that way. And I think in the long run, Shaka Smart can win a national championship at Texas, but he can't do it as a full-time pressure coach.
I just want, Zach, before you get to your next question, I just want to make sure people that were listening that might have driven off the road, when Mike DeCourcy said Kevin Durant, he's leaving after 1 year, he wasn't talking about leaving the Thunder, folks. He was talking about when he was at Texas. I can imagine people tuning in and hearing that. He's leaving in 1 year.
This is Mike DeCourcy. He's college basketball writer, not pro, college basketball writer for Sporting News on the Little Caesars. Good distinction on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready hotline. Mike, the best coach. We had this topic. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and I want to get you in on it. The best coaching job of the 4 coaches left was done by whom?
John Calipari. He won every game.
That's what I think, too. But I guess some people default to, whichever guy underachieved in the regular season, that should be the guy we say has done the best coaching job now because they were the worst seed in the tournament. And I try to prove those people wrong, including my producer, my sidekick here, you just heard his voice. He was going Izzo, too.
John Calipari won every game in the season. The object of the game, this may shock some people, is to win the game.
Todd, do you want to give your side of this?
Well,
Todd?
in fairness, I thought you said who's done the best coaching job in the tournament, like as far as from round 1 to now to the Final Four.
Stop it!
No, that's honestly
backtrack.
No,
Get
that's honestly what I thought you meant.
Well, maybe it's still Cal.
Well, if that's the question, I think the answer is though, because he's had to win 4 difficult games. Cal had to win 3. So automatically that defaults to the guy that didn't play a 16. I mean, Georgia's a good team. They're not great, but they're good and they're well coached and they've got some athletes, and you have to play to beat them. And the other thing is they don't beat themselves very much. So you have to play to beat them, and they did that. And then, of course, they had to topple a 2, which may have been slightly diminished, but still was a pretty capable team in Virginia. And then, honestly, then they had to play Oklahoma in the Sweet 16, and that may have been a little bit of an overseed for Oklahoma with the number of losses that they had. But certainly Oklahoma, you want to talk about a team that doesn't beat themselves. I mean, Lon's a magician. I mean, what they were able to do with the talent on hand. I love Buddy Hield. I thought he was terrific. But to elevate that team to a league contender and a number 3 seed, that was remarkable work. So you got to outlast that guy, because he's not, like I said, they're not going to beat themselves. So absolutely, Tom Izzo has done a fabulous job in this tournament to get this group, which on March 1st, if we do this mock, or didn't do it this year, but I've done it 4 times. This mock committee thing that the NCAA does,
right.
the mock selection committee, where the media go and they go through all the exercises in picking the field that the committee does. And if you did that exercise on March 1st, I don't know that you would have included Michigan State in the field. You might have had them right on the very bubble. They might have been playing in the first 4, or they might have missed it altogether. And they made it. They managed to rally into the tournament with 4 consecutive big wins: Purdue, at Indiana, and then 2 in the conference tournament and a close loss to Wisconsin. So he has done remarkable work with this bunch in this tournament, in this month, really.
Mike DeCourcy with us, Sporting News, sportingnews.com on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. Long-time college, don't mean to date him, but long-time college basketball writer, and a good one here on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline on 107.7 The Franchise. Gino Auriemma gave us another reason to kind of bring the style of college basketball back to the forefront, as if we needed another one. There's it seems like every other day now we have a chance to react to somebody else talking about NCAA style of play. And I know you've been a big talker on it as well. What needs to change, Mike?
Well, I think the first thing that needs to change is the attitude toward all this. It's not a crisis. It's not an emergency. It's not unwatchable. And above all, it is not a joke. And Auriemma's statement to that effect was offensive. And he should apologize for it. He should apologize. He should be asked to apologize. I mean, obviously there's no abiding authority that says if you don't apologize, but he should. He owes the game of basketball an apology for that statement. It was a disgrace. No one would dare say that about the women's game, nor should they, because it's not a disgrace. It's imbalanced, but it's certainly not a joke. It's a beautiful game played by very athletic people. Women's basketball deserves a more prominent place in American basketball. I just wish they would find a place that was their own so that people could see what a great game it is. But I'm not going to sit there and say the insulting things about women's basketball that he did about the men's college game. So that's the first thing that needs to change, is this attitude that it's terrible. It could be better. And all we need to do to make it better is go back to the start of 2013 when they put in the no-contact rules and enforced them, and they changed the charging rule so that you had to be there on the spot as a help defender in legal guarding position when the player made his move to shoot, which is basically the ball's coming off the floor into the hip, and now he's ready to either lay it up or take a jump shot. If you're not there, then you are not defending. You are just merely there to fall down. If you can't either redirect the player, steal the ball, or block a shot, what are you defending? You're just there to fall down. That's not defense. So that's what needs to change. All we have to do is go back to the start of last year and have some courage to go all the way through the year and all the way through the next year and into infinity with that. What we've seen in the NIT with the 30-second clock that everybody thinks is the magic button that you push and then everything's better. What was the final score at the end of regulation last night, guys? You probably didn't watch, but you know what it was?
No, I did. I mean, hell, it was in this. It was in. Did it even hit 70 after overtime?
No, at the end of regulation, 40 minutes with a 30-second clock. Those two teams, 59-59. So what's it fixing? And the semis were the same way. I think there was one semi that was even lower scoring than that. I think it was 54-53 or something like that. It's not fixing anything because what needs to be fixed is the contact in the game. It doesn't matter how. My analogy on this is, okay, so you're taking your teenager. Fortunately, I don't have any. But you're taking your teenager out to drive for the first time, and you're teaching them how to drive, and they're struggling to keep the car on the road. So what do? You tell them go faster. That's what they're talking about doing here. That's not going to work out on the road, and it's not going to work out in basketball.
Mike, why did they go away from it in 2013?
No guts. Coaches complained because the coaches want to have impact on the game. They believe that that their value added is, if I can get my guy to be in position to fall down, I have done a great coaching job. If I can get my guys to grab everybody that goes through the lane, then they're listening to me and they're being tough, and I've done a great coaching job. So coaches complained constantly to officials about this. And the officials that were instructed at the beginning of the year, have courage, enforce the rules. This is how we want it done. And the conference administrators were supposed to enforce that, the people who were in charge of assigning officials. Well, as the officials gradually gave up on it because they didn't want to hear the coaches complain, the official supervisors, they don't have any recourse. They can say to a certain official, you're not enforcing the rules that we wrote and that we want you to enforce. We're not assigning you any games. One, they have to find then somebody who will do it, and then the coaches are mad because it's not somebody they know. And two, if you put that guy aside, some other league's going to hire him. The problem in college basketball that makes it difficult to fix it is officials are independent contractors that are assigned by various leagues. There is no overarching officiating mechanism. In the NFL, everybody who works as an official works for the NFL. In the NBA, everybody works for the NBA. If you don't do the job, they'll fire you and hire somebody else. They're in charge. But in college basketball, if I, Mike DeCourcy, don't call the no contact rules or don't officiate charging well enough, and the ACC fires me, I'll go get a job in the Big East, and they'll hire me, or the Big 12 or whatever. Somebody's going to hire me. It's gone on forever. Somebody's got a friend that was an official or what. They always get hired. And so even if the guy that replaced me in the ACC starts calling the rules right, I'm off in the Big 12 calling them wrong, so it doesn't fix anything.
That was good. Mike, tell people where they can find you.
At TSN Mike on Twitter. I have a Facebook author page, Mike DeCourcy. You can search for that. And then if you're still one who likes to go through just the domain name, you can go to sportingnews.com, www.sportingnews.com, and we're there all the time. Love to have you join us.
10-4. Mike, we're very great. Oh, by the way, one-word answer is all we need, and then we'll let you go. We know you're busy, and we're already very grateful for your time. One-word answer, gut feeling. Mike DeCourcy, yes or no, feels like Buddy Hield feels like a first-round pick.
No.
Good talking to you, Mike. Thanks for coming on.
Good stuff, Mike.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mike DeCourcy on 107.7 The Franchise.